Dear viewers, today we shall discuss about the evolution of management thought. Management thought refers to the theory that guides management of people in the organization. The evolution of management thought is a process that started in the early days of man. It began since the period of man saw the need to live in groups. Mighty men were able to organize the masses, share them into various groups. The sharing was done according to the mass's strength, mental capacities, and intelligence. The point is that management has been practiced in one way or the other since civilization began. Examples may be found in both in Eastern and Western literature. If you want a good example here, advanced management principles were applied. Consider the organization of the olden days Roman Catholic Church, military forces, as well as ancient Greece. These are all excellent examples. But the Industrial Revolution brought drastic changes, and suddenly the need to develop a more holistic and formal management theory became necessity. Thus, management thought has its origin in ancient times. It is developed along with other socio-economic development. The contributors to management theory include management philosophers, management practitioners, and scholars. Modern management is based on the strong foundation laid down by the management thinkers from the past events. This slide explains the management thinkers. We have Kautilya from our ancient land. We see Max Weber, we see Henry Fayol, we see Maslow. You can also see MacGregor, Elton Mayo, and Peter Drucker. All these people, these are a few people I could show you. There are many people who have contributed to this management thought. Let us discuss this management thought prior to classical management theory. We consider it as pre-scientific contribution. You can see Robert Owen. He was a Welsh textile manufacturer. He is considered as the father of personal management because of his approach and focus on employee welfare. Then we have James Watt Jr. He is a partner in Soho foundry firm of Boulton and Watt. He shared responsible with Matthew Robinson Burton for its management. Watt took on the daily operations and organization of the foundry, with Boulton being more concerned with planning. Then you can see a famous renowned professor by name Charles Babbage. He discovered that manufacturers were relying more on guesswork. Therefore, he suggested and urged them to utilize mathematics and science to be more accurate and productive. We have Benjamin Seaborn Rowntree. He is more a philanthropist rather than a capitalist. He introduced various reforms in the working conditions of workers. He is instrumental, or he established 8 hours day, 1896. He established pension scheme in 1906, a 5-day work and work councils in 1919, the establishment of a psychology department in 1922. He is instrumental to introduce profit sharing plan. All these were before we were enunciating a systematic theories of management, and these things were there, this thinking was there, and afterwards whatever thinking is there, we try to put them into 3 categories. All the management theories we try to sum up in 3 categories: classical organization theory or classical management theory, neoclassical management theory and modern management theory. The classical management theory, it consists of three streams of thought: scientific management, administrative theory and bureaucracy. Neoclassical management theory we try to put into two categories, namely Hawthorne studies and behavioral scientists. The modern organization theory we try to put them into the quantitative approach, the systems approach and contingency or situational approach. Now, let us discuss these theories. The classical management theory is a style of management that emphasizes hierarchy, specialized roles and single leadership for optimized efficiency in the workplace. The neoclassical theory happens to be an extensive version of classical theory. It includes behavioral science in business management. In this theory, the organization is a social system and its performance is affected by human efforts. Then, as we move forward, we can see modern management theory. It adopts an approach to management that balances scientific methodology with humanistic psychology. It uses emerging technologies and statistical analysis to make decisions. It streamlines operations and quantify performance. At the same time, it values individual job satisfaction and a healthy corporate culture. One important thing we need to understand: when we talk about neoclassical theory, it does not mean that we say classical theory is wrong. When we talk about modern management theory, it does not mean classical theory, neoclassical theory, they are wrong. What all we are trying to say, there are certain limitations in the classical management theory. These limitations we are trying to overcome to neoclassical theory. And in neoclassical theory, we found certain limitations. We are trying to overcome those things through modern management theory. This entire management school of thought, management theory, it is a process of evolution. As we progress in our thinking, the management theory undergoes a drastic change. Now, let us focus a little on classical management theory. Classical management theory is a style of management. This emphasizes hierarchy, specialized roles and single leadership for optimized efficiency in the workplace. Classical management theory, the first one, let us focus on scientific management theory propounded by Frederick Winslow Taylor. His background happens to be engineering background, and Taylor employed scientific methods because his background happens to be engineering background. Based on that, he wrote a book, The Principles of Scientific Management, in 1911, and the principles that he propounded, we try to put them into two categories. The one happens to be mechanical aspects of scientific management. The second one happens to be philosophical aspects of scientific management. Mechanical aspects we can focus on time study, motion study, fatigue study, scientific task and planning, differential piece rate, functional foremanship, standardization and simplification. These are the mechanical aspect. But the beauty of scientific management is in its philosophical aspects. He started advocating, develop for each element of a man's work, don't go by rule of thumb. Then the second, the most important philosophy is scientific selection and training, developing individuals. Cooperation, not individualism. Then the next thing is maximum output, not restricted output. Harmony, but not discord. Once these things happen, I am sure there will be welfare to the employees, not only for the employers. What is the critical evaluation of scientific management? The positive aspects you can see, if we follow or if you follow, the productivity will be enhanced, the cost of production will come down. Naturally, when you share the benefits with people, the standard of living will go up, there will be industrial peace, then people start enjoying their work because you are trying to match jobs and employees. This is the beauty of scientific management, but the scientific management has certain limitations. The focus is more on technical aspects. It depersonalized work. It is more expensive because you need to conduct experiments to find out time study, motion study and all these things. The focus is more on economic facet of a human being. There are other facets of a human being which are not considered. It is considered undemocratic because planning will be done by one person and evaluation will be done by altogether a different person. There is a separation, people they consider it as undemocratic. One of the minus points of this scientific management is it always considers there is only one best way of doing things. These are, we can say, limitations. Then we talk about administrative theory propounded by Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol's experience has been, he is a manager and he started advocating universality school. You can apply the principles of management anywhere to any organization. He considers functions of management. He has brought out the functions of management as planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating and controlling. He is considered as the father of general management. He has classified business operations into technical, commercial, financial, security, accounting and managerial. The most important contribution of Henry Fayol is the 14 principles of management, and what he says, you can apply these principles in any organizations where you are employed or you are managing. The first thing he talks about division of work, then parity of authority and responsibility, discipline is the core, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest to organizational interest, remuneration, centralization, scalar chain, initiative, order, equity, stability of tenure and esprit de corps. These are the 14 principles which are propounded by Henry Fayol. Now, what is the contribution of Henry Fayol? From his time, a systematic analysis of management processes started. These universal principles, the 14 principles, they are considered as the universal principles you can apply anywhere. The formal management education has started. The functions of management are given and he has brought out the qualities of manager. But this theory has certain limitations. For example, most of the things are statements, principles are statements. These are too formal. Some of these things are vague. There is no clarity. I think in the present day economy, some of the principles like unity of command principles like that, they are violated. Sometimes we get a doubt, are they principles or they statement? The most important limitation of this theory I consider, it is always pro-management. Then we will discuss the third element in the case of classical organization theory or classical management theory, because both the things they overlap. It is a bureaucracy. This is propounded by German sociologist by name Max Weber. In simple words, a bureaucracy is a structure. It rates high in complexity, it rates high in formalization, it rates high in centralization. Let us discuss these three words: Complexity is the degree of heterogeneity and concentration among environment elements. When we say complexity, we also refer to the division of labor, professional activities and employee training activities in an organization. Then the next element is centralization. When we talk about centralization, we refer to the degree to which decision making is concentrated at a single point in the organization. Then the third element is formalization. When we talk about formalization, we are referring it to the degree to which jobs in an organization are standardized. It refers to the extent to which employee's role is defined by formal documentation. Bureaucracy, it denotes an integrated hierarchy of specialized offices defined by systematic rules and impersonalized routinized structure wherein legitimatized authority in the office and not in the person of the incumbent. Based on these things, let us try to bring out the features of bureaucracy. Its focus is on specialized jobs, it focuses on rules and regulations, it has much focus on the hierarchy of management, it is highly impersonal, it is based on qualification. You can enter into a job based on your qualification only. Career paths are clearly defined and it advocates lifelong employment. If we have to critically evaluate this bureaucratic type of organization, there are several positive aspects. If we really follow bureaucracy, there will be high amount of precision and speed. There will not be any ambiguity. There will be logic while designing the entire organization structure. There will be continuity, there will be rationality, there will be consistency, and with a lot of precision you can predict. These are the positive aspects of a bureaucratic type of organization. But bureaucracy has certain limitation. As you go through the bureaucracy for a long time, there is a possibility for you to get into a trained incapacity. We become too rigid. The main goal is lost and goal displacement takes place. There is a lot of impersonality that takes place in the organization. Self-perpetuation, empire building, these things they creep into the organization. People they focus more on cost control and lot of anxiety will be developed, will be focusing or will be drifting from the main goal. That is what goal displacement that takes place when we follow this bureaucratic type of organization. But we can say it has several positive aspects. We have to take into cognizance the limitations also. Now, we will focus on the 4 pillars of classical theory given by William G. Scott. Based on these 3 streams of thought, we can say classical theory focuses on division of labor, specialization, unity of control, central authority, divides supervisors and coordinates. Then the second thing it focuses on scalar. When we talk about scalar chain, we talk about functional, scalar vertical division, then functional, horizontal, process, purpose, client. Then it focuses on structure, it talks on logical arrangement and objective, line staff and committees, and the focus is more on span or supervision. The 4 pillars of classical theory are division of labor, scalar, structure and span. The criticism of classical management theory, we can say, it is done because the human element is ignored, human desires are ignored in the classical theory. The classical perspective has strong influences on modern operations and process improvement. Now, let us get into neoclassical perspective. The neoclassical theory is an extension of classical theory. This includes behavioral science and business management. In this theory, the organization is a social system and its performance is affected by human efforts. Neoclassical approach, it has two elements, human relations and behavioral approach. The neoclassical approach developed as a reaction to the classical principles, but it did not abandon them. Smithberg, Thompson and Simon, they were trying to modify the structures. Elton Mayo trying to bring human factor, Douglas MacGregor and others, they were trying to bring behavioral movement. Smithberg, Thompson and Simon, they advocated structure and modification, like they advocated flat structure, decentralization and informal organizations. The two movements in the neoclassical theory of management, they are related to human relations movement, behavioral movement. Human relations movement, Elton Mayo and Rochelle Berger, they have done Hawthorne studies. According to them, social and psychological factors are important in deciding the workers' productivity and satisfaction. This movement clearly indicated efficient leaders are employee-centric, democratic and they follow participative management style. The behavioral movement, as I told, Maslow, Douglas MacGregor, Chris Agres, Likert, Levin and Kit Davis, they have contributed a lot. It is a more mature version of human relations theory. This theory proposes ideas about how managers should behave in order to motivate the employees. This theory aims to encourage employees to perform at the highest level and achieve organization goals. Elton Mayo is considered as the father of human relations school. He conducted experiments at Hawthorne, GE Company, Chicago, and there are four important experiments: elimination test focused on productivity, relay assembly test, it focused on working conditions, productivity, attitude towards group, mass interview, and it focused on complaints. The bank wiring test, it tried to understand the impact of incentive. Based on those experiments, what he has brought, this is considered as an Hawthorne effect. He considers, based on his experiment, that organizations are social system. Organization, the social system, they impacts the environment. Within the formal organization, there is an informal organizations. They consider that workers are members of several groups. Apart from formal leadership, there is an informal leadership. Organizations have not just one-way communication, they have two-way communication. Money is considered as one of the motivators only. Unlike your classical organization theory, classical management theory, they consider conflict, it is a part, there is a need to integrate conflict and we need to relate work and the organization structure. This is the contribution of Hawthorne experiment. This is considered as a Hawthorne effect. There are four major concepts in the case of human relations: worker, work group, work environment and the leader. There is an interrelationship among these four. The contributions of behavioral movement: an organization is a social system. Interpersonal group behavior is influenced by a wide range of factors. You need to have fusion between individual goals and organization goals, individual needs and organization goals. We need to understand that people, they are different in terms of their attitudes, perceptions and values. Conflict is there, it is inevitable, it is desirable also. The features of neoclassical management: it is considered as a social system. Human factors, they are regarded as the most important element in the organization. Here social and psychological factors, they decide the workers' productivity and satisfaction. The management aims to develop social and leadership skills along with technical skills. It must be done for the welfare of the workers. Morale and productivity, work, they go together in the organization. The criticism of neoclassical approach, we can say it is unrealistic assumptions, some of these things. It has got limited application. Still lot of experiments are going on. It requires lot of scientific validity. The focus on work was limited more on group happiness, people's happiness. They were considering conflict is inevitable, but they have a feeling we have to incorporate only. Now, we will come to modern organization theory. Modern management theory adopts an approach to management that balances scientific methodology with humanistic psychology. It uses emerging technologies and statistical analysis to make decisions, streamline operations, and qualify performance. At the same time, it values individual job satisfaction and a healthy corporate culture. Modern management theories, they are put into quantitative approach like management science, operations management, MIS, then system approach and contingency approach. Quantitative approach management science focuses on the use of mathematical and statistical methods to form effective business solutions and achieve goals. Operations management, managers implement practices that help make business and production processes more efficient. Management information system focuses on database that organizes an organization data, and managers use this system to support informed decisions making. Then we have to focus on systems approach. An organization is made up of numerous subsystems such as different departments. Managers using this theory examine how the systems they interact with and affect one another rather than analyzing them separately. They must also consider their surrounding environment and external factors that influence and affect these systems. And management systems approach has these components: input, transformation, output. There is environment, there is a feedback. Now, we will go to the contingency approach. Contingency approach considers that management approach states that there is not just one management approach that fits every organization. It believes that optimal management style depends on the situation. Leaders who utilize this theory do not adopt a single management style, and instead they identify and use different styles for different situations. Let us discuss about contingency approach. It is an extension of systems approach. It advocates there is no one best way of doing things. Contingency approach suggests that managerial actions and organization must design be appropriate to the given situation. If we have to critically appraise contingency approach, it is more useful, it is more practical, it is more situational, it clearly defines the elements of the environment. If we have to talk about the limitations, it is still inadequate in the sense lot of experiments are going on, still lot of literature is required to validate these things. It is a very complex, lot of empirical testing is required. In conclusion, we can say the way organizations operate and management their resources has changed as a result of evolution of management thought. We have learned about classical theory, neoclassical theory and modern theory and contemporary theory of management. Each has contributed to the development of modern management practices. Managers must understand and comprehend the various management theories and how they can be used in various contexts. We have to develop our skills as a manager by enhancing our knowledge of management theories and practices, and can stay ahead of the curve and succeed in a fast-paced business world. Thank you.